hope we're going to be able to get through this tonight and be with you. Glad to be with you on this Melvin Law Monday. Right around the corner, Shane Matthews. Can't wait to hear some more of his comments about it's finally done. It's finally done. How do we feel about it? Where do we go? We'll take a look at some indicators and talk about today, the events, what happened, the transition, etc. All tonight right here on the Buddy Martin Show with Shane Matthews. Franz Beer will join us shortly. And then Laurie Meadows will weigh in on his thoughts as well on this historic day in Florida football. Yeah, it's happened again. And it's the way it is. If you're around these parts, you know what it's like. Stay tuned. The Buddy Martin Show's next.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
What if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening and welcome to the program. I'm Buddy Martin, and we're having quite a day on the internet. I know Brendan this morning had a terrible time. Let's hope I know we're up somewhere, and at least we're recording and nothing else. I know we get Shane Matthews, and that's the important news this morning because who doesn't want to know what Shane thinks? I heard some of the show this morning. I don't know. I think I sense a little bit of relief with him. I know I have a little relief. It's been hard, not just to be the coach, but to be a fan of the Florida Gators. And Shane, good evening. Welcome to Melvin Law Monday. And, give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of talk that it was going to happen, and it did happen. And it's over with. And you got, 5 games left? Mm-hmm. See what happens, and then see who our next coach will be.
A lot of nuances of things. Let's get your thoughts on all of them. Not the least of which is Billy Gonzalez. Now as the interim, he does have a history with this program. And I don't know, I know you don't watch press conferences, but I evaluated him honestly, and I've known Billy, a little bit for many years. He's coached you a bunch of times. I thought he handled it with a lot of grace. I thought he handled it with composure. I think he stated what he wanted to do. I pick up on the little things in there I'm hearing. I know you do too about what's ahead. What do you think of the new lineup? Who calls the plays and what happened?
I was a little surprised that Ron O'Hara is going to call the plays.
Right. Okay. Is that a good thing, you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's called plays one time at Alabama A&M University.
Right.
I don't know. All we can do is wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise, but in a way, if you drill down on it and think, well, the quarterback has got to have communications with someone on the staff. And I think maybe O'Hara might be the guy who can. He said Jaluki was kind of going to be the running game coordinator, right? So to speak. And
first of all, nothing is changing other than Ron O'Hara is now the guy calling the plays. Everybody else is still doing their same responsibility they've been doing all year.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so you're right. He was at Alabama A&M 2016 and 17. What little I know about him, he's done a pretty good job. That probably means that Steve Spurrier Jr. will have a voice in there somewhere, I think, don't you?
Well, I think all of them, again, I go back to all my days of playing on teams. When you have offensive meetings and you're putting a game plan together, all your coaches are involved. And I think that's what it's going to continue to be.
There was one rather enlightening statement which he made talking about what he planned to do. And I want to get your thoughts because I took from this something I'm hoping what I hear. Interim head coach Lozano says he wants to spread it out a little and, quote, get some of these playmakers involved. Well, now, you know what? Does that open up the door for four wides, I ask you?
I don't know if we'll run four wides. Nobody in America does.
Occasionally.
I've not seen one team this year run four wides in
Okay.
college football.
So what does it mean when he says open, spread it out a little? What does he mean by that?
I don't know. We're going to find out. We'll
What
find
do
out
you
against
think,
Georgia.
what do you think it means?
I mean, he could run four wide receivers out there. I doubt it, but we'll find out.
Okay. I mean, I don't know enough about football to say if one's better than the others. I know one involves a tight end, one doesn't.
Well, 11
Obviously.
personnel is the best formation and best personnel in football. That's one tight end and three wide receivers. That's the best formation. That's
Okay.
what everybody runs. You have so many options, but I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea. We'll find out against Georgia.
The other thing was that there is a formation where they run two wide receivers and two running backs, right?
Two wide receivers and two running backs?
Yeah. No. What's the 20? I don't know what I mentioned the 20 or something today. Anyway, I don't want to get lost in X's and O's. Emotionally, what does it feel like? Do you have a sense of relief?
I mean, I know we still have 6 weeks left in the regular season of college football. I'm more concerned about who our next coach is going to be.
Well, the high drama of the season, and by the way, he said basically he put the hat on Billy, although he was very kind to Billy, gave him his full salary, etc. He talked about how he talked at length with Billy about offensive coordinators, a great deal, and he said, "I think that's where we are, while we are where we are today." Which tells me, obviously, he says he gave Billy an option, and Billy didn't take it. How bad a mistake was that in retrospect?
I don't know. I really don't care. There's no guarantee if Billy would have hired offensive coordinator would be any better on offense. Because I've always said, who the hell are you going to hire? And nobody could ever tell me. So
how about Cade Bell?
I would love Cade Bell, but I mean, I seriously doubt Billy even had him on his radar. Look, I don't even know. There's really no reason to even discuss what went wrong. If Billy would have hired this guy, he'd still be. It does not matter. He is gone. He did a good job at a lot of stuff off the field. We all know that. He's a great person. But I think the focus now is who is going to be the next guy, because it's the most important hire in the history of the program, in my opinion.
Okay. You're not going to go back and go over any of the other church. I understand why you don't want
It doesn't matter.
I understand. I'm just trying to learn. That's all.
No, buddy. I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. I'm just saying everybody talks about Billy should hire an offensive coordinator. He'd still be here. Maybe he would. Maybe
somebody said that. I don't know who it was.
But what I'm saying is there's no guarantee we would have been any better on offense. There's none. Could we have been better? Possibly. But there's no reason to even go down that road anymore because it's a done deal. Okay. We are moving on to the next coach for the Florida Gators.
Let's move on to the next.
And that's all my focus is on.
Okay. I got a couple lists here today, and everybody's got a list. Everybody's got a list. And this comes from Vegas. There's even several Vegas odds lists. I've got a couple of them. And the odds say that Kiffin is the favorite to be the next coach of Florida. This particular group of odds, I don't know if this is MGM, whoever it is, plus 200. You'd be surprised who the next guy is.
I don't even know. I wouldn't know.
Jeff Brom.
Wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't see him leaving his alma mater.
Okay, I'm just telling you the odds makers. I don't know anything about it. Now, Franklin is gotten a lot of run lately, last couple of days. Some people don't like him at all. Didn't he win 10 games, a whole bunch of seasons at Penn State? I believe he did, didn't he?
He's won a lot.
About 10 seasons, yeah.
I don't know if James Franklin would be on the list if he was still employed, though.
Well, but going back to Coach Spurrier's philosophy, being cheap and be available.
We ain't got time for cheap and available, buddy.
No, I'm just saying he's got money because he's got the buyout.
No, I hear you, but we can't. I don't give a damn how much it costs. You better hire right now.
That's not the point. The point is that I'm not saying that's the reason to hire him. I'm saying if he's on the list and you value him and you say, I've got Dan Lanning and I got Nick Saban, what are my chances? Well, you ain't going to get Saban. You probably ain't going to get Lanning.
No.
Because you got so then who else is on the list? And that's the point. You're making a list right now. So let's just go ahead. This is what Vegas is saying. Kiffin, Brom, and Franklin. Franklin is plus 600. Better odds than Drinkwitz, who's 700. Followed by Marcus Freeman at 800. Urban at 900. Golish at 1,200. And then I'm going to stop it right there. There's other names. Brent Key, Kenny Dillingham, Rhett Lashley, etc. But the odds say the coach, if you look by this one list, will be Kiffin, Brom, who I hadn't even heard his name mentioned, Franklin, who's just come up lately, and Drinkwitz. So those are your top four. There's a second list out there. Again, I'm not saying this is the gospel. I'm saying this is what the odds makers are saying. And you got to pay attention to them, don't you? So here's the one. This is what got me. The other, this is bookies.com. The number one candidate is, you ready? Alex Golish.
That's their number one?
That's what they say. He's plus 225.
What's Lane on their list?
275 next.
So it's not a big difference in the odds.
No. Drinkwitz is triple that. He's 700. Then Dan Lanning. Then Saban 2,200. Forget it. And then Cristobal. Forget that. But I mean, once you get past the first two or three, it's anyway. The odds are interesting to say, but I'm really surprised. Number one, the Brom popped up on like he did. I'm a little surprised that Golish is more than a little surprised he's the top guy on the bookies.com. Now, this changes by the day, if not the hour. I understand that. But just saying, focus on the next one. Let's talk about what's ahead. I thought Billy Gonzalez came off as sincere, grateful. I chose these words carefully, and compassionate toward Billy Napier. I like that he's changing up the play caller with whoever it is, Ryan O'Hara working directly with DJ Lagway and Jaluki coordinating the run game. I'm impressed that apparently Billy talked to Urban Meyer last night. Did you hear that? Billy,
I did not know that.
Yeah, he talked to Urban Meyer, he said. There was a time where they had a rift, back in the day when the thing happened with Percy. But he sought the advice of Urban. I'm anxious to hear from what he exactly told him. So Gonzalez says his goal is to remain on the staff under a new coach. I think that would be good if they could keep him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, Billy's been around a bunch of different head coaches, but again, you got to remember, buddy, when it comes to a new coach, you just never know what they're thinking, who they want on their staff.
Well, you got a link to your championship days, at least. They're a guy who's been there and done that. So, and he's a good coach, and he keeps putting receivers in the NFL. So I just say who you have a hard time getting a better guy. But you're right. If you were coming, you might have your own guy. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I would hope it work out. And I'm glad Billy has that goal, and I'm glad he said that was his goal. I think that's a good thing. All right. DJ Lagway. In all of this, where do you think he stands?
What do you mean?
Well, do you think he's looking, shopping, waiting to see the coming? Here's what he said. Asked about his future. I'm a Florida Gator, man. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he will stay, but I think he will, depending on who they get, because I'm sure the guy they get is going to be offensive-minded. He's got to be.
Well, you got to remember, buddy, in today's world, again, it's the same thing. Certain coaches like certain type of players. The new coach may like DJ, but he may have his own guy he wants to bring in. Mm-hmm. I think that goes with a lot of positions. That's just the nature of football. I mean, when you watch football, there's I'm sure you just as a casual fan, you'd be like, man, I'd love for that guy to be my left tackle or my starting linebacker or DB or quarterback, whatever position it may be. Different coaches have different views of players. So I think you're just going to have to wait and see who the coach is and then see what all he does. He could bring like Kurt Signetti did and brought a ton of kids from his previous school.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's a statement made today. I'll ask you: is this a good thing, a bad thing, or is it a proverbial kiss of death? I'll get your reaction to this. You know what they say: you get a vote of confidence. There's a joint statement from Chair Maury Hassini. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, and Interim President Dr. Donald Landry. It was a release. It says, see what you think of this. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the university, we express our full support for Athletic Director Scott Strickland and his decision to make a change in the leadership of our football program. Today's news underscores our collective, continuing, and uncompromising commitment to a Gators football program that inspires pride across the university and community and competes annually for national championship. We will continue to provide the athletic department with every resource necessary to deliver on that promise. What do you think of that?
Well, isn't that just your typical statement?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's always, they say, the dreaded vote of confidence, what they call it. But I guess they need to have a statement of some kind and that they were behind him. Did you watch any of the presser today? You probably didn't, did you?
I was doing radio with Steve Russell before it came on.
Okay.
But we were talking and listening, kind of, not a whole lot.
I just want to get your thoughts about the overall demeanor and the mental attitude and the approach and the press conference. I'll have friends on a minute. He was at the press conference as well. And we'll get his thoughts. But so I think they did a good thing with Billy. I think that was a good move. I hope that was I even like Ryan O'Hara. I just don't think you ought to go back to the same offense and the same calls or whatever. And I think at least O'Hara's a fresh face. What I know about him, I liked him. He did a great job with Mertz. I thought when he had Mertz. We'll see. But anyway, I just want to get your thoughts on that. So what the mood was today, this guy can tell us because he was there at the press conference. I want to get his thoughts. I'll bring him on for a second, and then should him visit for a second while I run a quick mercy mission around the corner. But let's say good evening to France Beard. And as we get him on, hold on a second. I'm coming, France. What's the score on the game? Bucks were behind 14-3.
21-9.
21-9.
Yeah, I'm watching that in baseball.
All right, what's the score in the baseball game? Give us an update.
2-1 Mariners.
Okay.
Or as someone at one of the young aspiring journalism girls said on the update, the Mariners.
God bless her. She just doesn't know. Yeah, the Mariners. I remember the Mariners. It's game 6, right?
Game 7. Winner goes to play.
Oh, that's right. Game 6. Okay. All right. So here's this guy. He was at the press conference today. Friends, good evening. Welcome back to the show. And thanks for last night. Good show last night. We can get Shane squared up in the middle of the picture there. Friends, give us a moment. Tell us what the mood was like at the press conference. And I'm going to let you and Shane share a moment together while I just run around the corner for a second and take care of an item there. Say good evening to Shane. Shane, Franz.
Hi. I want to ask Franz. Franz, do you wear that fancy hat when you go to the press conferences?
Yeah, I do.
Did you ever wear it when Coach Spurrier coached?
No, back then I didn't have. I hadn't had a couple places removed
No, I was just curious if we go, all right, Frank, you got to take that hat off when you're inside.
Well, you know what? We got about half these guys wear baseball caps, and if they can wear baseball caps, I can certainly.
I'm just kidding you.
No, I know. I just look at it like this. They wear baseball caps. Me, I got style. Because you're gonna love this, Shane. But next year, I realize that your mode to dress is shorts and a pullover. That's because that's what you wear to play golf in. I understand that.
That's it.
But next year, for those who are a little bit more fashion conscious, suspenders and hats are going to be in style again.
Nice.
Yeah, I wear both of them. So.
So I guess Buddy wants you to talk about the press conference today.
Well, yeah, I thought I don't know if you watched it or listened to it, but
a little bit here and there.
I thought Scott was it was a tough time for Scott Strickland because first off, he didn't, he likes Billy Napier. It's obvious that he likes Billy Napier. And the fact is, everybody likes him. It's just that liking somebody personally and disliking the way they coach are two different things. I thought that Scott kind of ducked and dodged a little bit about why now and whatever. I think, I asked him point blank, when did you make the decision and when did you tell him? And he more or less just said, well, we met Sunday morning. And I believe with all my heart, Shane, that he knew, that Billy knew. And I don't know whether they'd had the conversation prior to the ball game Saturday, but I guarantee you the Billy Napier that's met the media after the game, he already knew he was gone.
Yeah, he knew. I normally don't watch those, but I guess because I couldn't sleep. Well, we got home at a reasonable hour, not like these damn other late games. And I did watch it, and you knew because he got choked up. Didn't he get choked up a little bit?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he said, I love football. He says, and he almost went into tears. And a guy doesn't do that unless he knows. And I think he was it's kind of like in '89. Galen knew before the LSU game that he was already gone. Galen knew that, and it wasn't announced, I think, until on the team plane when you guys were coming back from Baton Rouge that this was his last game. Arden Krzyzewski kicked the game-winning field goal. I remember that. And but I think Billy knew, and it was tough on Scott because first off, he's his friend, and the second thing is, you're the athletic director. This is your second coach you've hired, and this is the second coach you've had to fire, and that can't be easy either. I would not want that job for that specific reason, because you've got to be a friend to these coaches. You can't be their buddy, because buddies will cover. That was Ron Zook's problem. Zook tried to be everybody's buddy, and your buddy, when you say, I think we ought to have one more beer, your buddy will say, yeah, we've only had 12. I mean, what the hell? What's 13 going to do to us? Your friend will say, you've had too many. We got to go. We got to go. Your friend will do that. And Scott had to tell a friend, the truth that, this isn't working out. I thought, I think he avoided the question of who actually made the decision, because I think he was kind of given a point blank, you will or else. I would be shocked if he wasn't. there are too many people with too much money who have made who have put up the cash that it's going to take, because you got to remember $10 million for Billy, okay, because that's due within 30 days. You're going to take another 10 million to pay off the assistant coaches, whatever like that. You know that Billy Gonzalez is going to get, he's not going to get Billy Napier money, but he's not going to get wide receiver coach money
You got a
either.
nice little pay raise.
Yeah, he probably, you figure, okay, he's probably going to get paid $1 million for the next 5 weeks, 5 ball games. I would be shocked if it's less than that. Would be shocked if it's much more than that, but I'd also be shocked if it's less than that. So you got that. And then, I've talked to enough people, Shane, that tell me it's going to take $45 million to bring in a new coach. By the time you add, you're going to have to pay a buyout for him, and you may have to pay a buyout for other people, etc. And then you got to pay their moving expenses. You got to pay for a whole lot of other things like that, and that doesn't come cheap either. You were here when Galen Hall's staff left and Coach Spurrier brought his staff in, and the prices weren't near as much then as they are now, but it was still based on the time of the time in our history. It was still a lot of money then, but it's the money that's involved in all this is staggering, and they're talking about firing Mike Norvell, who's got a $59 million buyout. They're talking about firing Mark Stoops, who would be owed he would be owed his entire buyout within 2 weeks. Ooh. And that's $37 million.
How about Signetti, his contract? $93 million buyout. $93 million buyout for the Indiana coach, Shane.
Yeah, coaching's a great profession to get in. Wish I would have done it.
Just say that when you're in high school, yeah.
If there were such a thing as reincarnation, I would want to come back as a Power 4 head football coach just so I could get fired.
Yeah, I've said multiple times, I wish I would never play pro ball. I could have been a GA in 1993, and
yeah.
Look at today, I'd be
getting fired.
I've been fired a couple of times and have about $50 million in the bank.
Shane, I got to tell you what, you're still young enough to get to do it, but I don't know if you want to anymore.
I don't.
But I got to tell you what, you're the only person that ever learned Spurrier's offense in a spring and then refined it in the off season. Everybody else took at least a redshirt year, and then even after their redshirt year, they weren't very good. Danny was better than a lot of people. Terry Dean was better than a lot of people. Rex was certainly, it took Rex to mid-year, though, before he really came on. That offense is so complicated. It's so simple, but yet at the same time, so complicated. And you're the only one that picked it up in an off season. And that's why, I'm thinking today, people asking, are there going to be significant changes in the offense? I think there'll be significant changes in the play calls and what plays they do call. But you can't come in there and in 2 weeks do a wholesale override of what you've been doing. No. You got to go with what's in the books already, I think, and then just say.
I mean, I got to tell everybody, nobody has special pass plays. Everybody's got the same pass plays. Is knowing when to call them, how to coach them, and executing them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go over some things again with you, friends, on the changes, who's calling the plays, the press conference where you were, the mood. I'm going to let Shane get out of here and get some sleep tonight. But just to sum up your feelings on this before I tell folks about Meldon Law. How would you rate this day? Satisfied so far? I know you won't know the file for a while, but given what we're dealing with, how we're dealing with it, how things went down as far as you can tell, Shane, do you think everything was handled well? Do you have any complaints?
I mean, look, we all know Billy. It had to happen. I mean, 42 and 43 just doesn't cut it. And it has nothing to do with the University of Florida, right? If you're coaching the SEC, you can't have that record. So it's time to move on. We'll see how the team plays. Hopefully they play well. I think they'll play hard. Does it translate into more wins? I don't know. But again, my whole focus, buddy, is one guy only. And that may be the wrong thing to do. But I firmly believe if the job is offered, that is the key word for me. And I think if the University of Florida does not offer the best guy for the job, I have a problem. It means you ain't serious about winning football. It's that simple. If the guy says, you know what, it's not right time for me, I can live with that. But I will have a serious problem if he's not offered the job, because I think he will take it.
All right, so just to wrap it up and give Lauren a chance to peek in on the conversation earlier, I read off one of the Vegas odds list. I think it might have been MGM. So just looking at it for the strictly for the odds on this particular one, there's a couple out. But the one I found interesting was the one got Kiffin at plus 200. Jeff Brom, whose name just popped up there at 300. I thought we all know his Louisville team was very impressive morning and the night. Franklin, who just came on the list, is next at plus 600. Then Drinkwitz plus 700. Freeman is plus 8. Urban Meyer plus 9. Jed Fish, I don't think would get the job. This is 1,000. And Alex Golish is 1,200. And then they threw other names out there, Brent Key, Tech, etc. So while we pick on it, I mean, we know where Shane lives on this. But, we have to think, what if we don't get the guy we want? And I don't know if the right guy would be Brom. I'm not sure, but I think Franklin probably, a lot of people don't like Franklin, but he don't put him on the list. Is there anybody that jumps out at you real quick before we let Shane go, Lauren, besides Kiffin?
I mean, I agree with Shane. I mean, Kiffin's the one and only. You got to give it a go. But I like Franklin, and I've been adamant about that. I think the guy can coach. I heard Shane earlier, if you do some research and you look at other guys' record versus the top 10 or against ranked teams or whatever you want to look at, there's very few people that have an over 500 record against those guys. And I've said that, a lot of people lose to Ohio State and Michigan in all conferences. So, talking about he could never beat Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, he's at Penn State. On paper, he shouldn't beat Ohio State and Michigan. I'm from Ohio, and when they lose to Penn State, it's not a good thing because Ohio State does not feel like they should lose to Penn State. So, but you look at a guy that can coach, that can adapt his offense to fit his personnel. I think he's likable. I think he's engaging, and I think he can flat out coach. He's shown that at multiple stops. He won games at Vanderbilt, for Christ's sake, when Vanderbilt didn't have much at all. I think he came to the Swamp, got a win. So, I mean, obviously Kiffin. I mean, it's got to be Kiffin. And if they don't offer the job, I would agree. That's criminal. But after that, I mean, Franklin's your guy. I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be a thing.
We'll get back to that. I want to just say one thing. By the way, Mike Norvell was 42 in FSU on his last ACC game. He just turned 44. So, the Athletic listed the best jobs in the SEC, football coaching jobs. I'm not going to tell you who they are. Think about it. Chew on it. We'll come back from the break. I'll tell you. What do you think Florida stands?
Well,
go ahead.
Speaking of that, buddy, before I go.
Yeah.
Because, I've heard people send me these little tidbits from Twitter or whatever, national people about why would Lane take the Florida job when the Ole Miss job is better than Florida?
It's not.
That's not the case. You know why the Ole Miss job is better than the Florida job right now? Because Lane Kiffin's the coach.
Yeah, I agree. Well, just to set you free
That's
on
just, it's the
that,
damn dumbest thing I've ever heard.
just to back you up, by the way, on this list of 16, Ole Miss is 12th. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Look,
it's not
I'm a diehard Rebel, man. There's no comparison.
Mhm.
And I tried to explain that to some of my dumbass friends from high school that love the Rebels. I'm like, y'all, I understand your loyalty to your school, but I'm close to both of them. There is no comparison in the brands. Zero.
Let me throw a name at both you guys out that I've had texted to me now 5 times. And before I explain it, he's a guy that's in the NFL. His contract is only through this year, and as you guys know, NFL head coaches rarely. I think Andy Reid is the only coach in the NFL who's got anything longer than a 3-year deal. But this guy's contract expires. He's a well-known offensive guy, and he was born in Gainesville. You know who I'm talking about? Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, no.
And I've had
Kyle
5
Shanahan?
different people. I've had 5.
Why in the hell would he want to have to deal with recruiting? he's so good at calling plays, though.
But here's the thing, and this is the logic that's coming at me, and I'm just passing it on, is that he is seeing that guys like Kurt Signetti get an 8-year deal worth $93 million. And at San Francisco, he may get a 2-year extension. And, yeah, you're dealing with the pros and all this other stuff, but there is a certain amount of security in 8 years at $93 million. I realize that's less money than you live on, Shane, but there's a lot of people out there that live on less as well. So, what would you think about? Would you? I mean,
if Lane can't, I'd sign up for him right now. I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan guy. He can dial them up, but I don't know why any coach that's in the National Football League would even consider going to college.
Not even for the
because I think somebody
security that you can
because
get.
I believe if the 49ers are dumb enough to let him go and not sign him, there are plenty of franchises that will sign that dude immediately.
My Titans will take him for sure. Please. My Titans, please.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, go get some rest.
Gentlemen, y'all have a good night.
The great seeing Matthew.
Easy,
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to do this. We're going to do our Meldon Law spot. It's Meldon Law Monday, of course. And thanks to Shane and France for covering up for me there for a minute. I had to take care of a matter. And, of course, folks at Meldon, I just want to say I'm a happy customer that they came through for me in my litigation I had to file. And it took a while. They got the right man. I got the right result. And I can tell you that you talk about a bunch of professionals, and the great thing about them is they're going to, if they don't think they got the right person for your case, they'll go find the right one, even if they're not Meldon lawyers, just to take care of you. So we talk a lot about their love for Florida, being the only official law firm for the University of Florida, which they are. But let's don't forget what good attorneys they have there. And, of course, Jeffrey Meldon being the leader of that. In addition to loving the Gators and all the things he does to programs, he's got a terrific staff of people. They're now up to 50 attorneys, 50. And they have an addition to the 4 in North Florida, Ocala, Gainesville, Wilson, Lake City. You also got now one in South Florida around Boca Raton. So Meldon Law, they won't back down. All right, guys, I told you what the list I had. And I want to see that get your list first, which is to say, give me your top 10 jobs in the SEC, football jobs, okay? Where are they? What schools? Who wants to go first? Or you guys can work together. I don't care. Top 10 jobs in the SEC.
Well, right now,
give me the top 5. Just give me the top 5.
Okay. In no particular order. Georgia's there. Alabama is there. Tennessee is there. simply because they've
No,
got all the.
Tennessee's not there. Just so you know.
Well, I would think that they are.
Okay, on this list,
Texas
is
has got to
there.
be there.
Yeah.
Texas A&M's got to be there simply
No,
because.
not there. Texas A&M not there. This is just one list. Okay. On this
Okay.
list. Okay?
Are we guessing the list or our
You're
list?
guessing the list right now.
Oh, well,
I'm
I
gonna-
thought we were talking about what
Well,
we
you
would
can do
think.
both. It's the same. Give me your list. Maybe it'll match up. If you got one, jump in there, Lauren.
Well, I mean, I say in any particular order: Florida, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and I would say a tie between Oklahoma and probably A&M would be the.
Okay.
Oh no, excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Take that back. LSU would be the fifth, and
Yeah,
then
okay.
pulling up the rear would be 6 and 7. Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Oklahoma.
Okay, I'm not going to go into the rear, but here's the deal that on this list. Number 1 is Georgia. Number 2 is Texas.
Mhm.
Number 3 is Alabama. Number 4 is LSU. By the way, how's that working out in LSU? Not so much, not so good. And Florida's 5th.
Yeah.
Now
so
the
there you
reason,
go.
but I mean, talking to Urban, he vociferously said he thought Florida was the top 5 job in the country. Now
I would agree.
but they only make number 5 in the SEC. But when you start talking about, and this is Shane's point, well, why would Kiffin leave Ole Miss? They're ranked 12th on this list for being the best job. 12th, okay?
Mhm.
And the Tennessee team you mentioned, Franz, is 8th.
Well, the reason I would rate Tennessee high is because they got Jimmy Haslam's family, all those pilot truck stops, everything.
Yeah, well,
they got all that money.
I understand.
I don't even stop at Pilot because of that.
Just because Oklahoma, all those Love's truck stops, that's Oklahoma money. And we start talking about money, and I'm surprised. I guess it's because of
not just money. Now, this is an overall job, not just money.
Well, from a standpoint of money, you'd have to have Arkansas right up there because of all the gazillionaires they have.
Like 10th.
But I'm just saying if we're literally
if you're just going about money, this is not a top 10 money list. This is the best job.
Well, I guess Arkansas too. The young Waltons are, I think,
Missouri people,
Oklahoma or Missouri.
Yeah, they got a bunch of money to Missouri.
Yeah, Oklahoma and like they're not Arkansas people anymore. The young ones are.
But they got J.B. Hunt money. They got Warren Stevens money. They got Tyson money. They got Reynolds Aluminum money. There's no shortage there. But let's face it. If it were just about money, Texas would have already won more than 3 national championships. If it were just about money, the Aggies would have won one since 1939. Only God has more money than the Longhorns, and only God and the Longhorns have more money than the Aggies.
No doubt.
But I think where we've gravitated to, I think Texas A&M is now, I think, is a top 5 job in the SEC, or maybe not top 5, but at least a top 6 or 7, simply because the investment they've made in their facilities and stuff like that, and the investment they've made in NIL is just phenomenal. But that's, again, goes back to the money situation. And they're in the state of Texas where there's no shortage of talent to recruit.
Right. Now, let me jump in real fast. Got a bunch of questions online. You guys hit them fast. Whoever has the first answer, just give it. This is his buddy. If Lane signs the extension, do you think that eliminates the Gators, or would they even go in with a buyout?
Well, if he signs the extension, he's staying at Ole Miss.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's simple.
All right. Let's see. Question for Shane. He's gone. Mark says Lane will be gone. Plenty of quarterbacks in the portal. I don't believe that. You guys think he'd be gone?
What's that now?
Do you think that Agway will be gone if they'll sign Kiffin?
No. I mean, I think he'll wait and see everything. I mean, I think they'll get a coach, and he and his family will sit down with the coach, and they'll break everything down. And no, I don't think DJ's a goner if Kiffin's not the coach at all. I don't think
Yeah.
DJ's a goner if, I mean, I think you could hire about 7 or 8 guys and Lagway would stay.
All
I
right,
think
here's
it depends on not necessarily who the head coach is going to be, but who is going to be the quarterback's coach who's calling
right.
the plays.
Yeah.
okay. Here's an interesting. I put this up because one time when Urban Meyer was coaching in Florida, it was really Tebow's senior year when he told me Tim ought to try to be the Florida coach one day. You know, he said that back then. Here's a guy I asked, hire Tim Tebow. What about that comment, huh? I know
He
what
don't
you
want that headache.
No matter. I'm just saying. What if you think about it? What if you did hire him? I mean, think what that would be.
Oh, it'd
That'd
be
amazing.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
You'd probably have an influx of cash and all that. I mean, a lot more interest, but I'm a realist, buddy, you know, and that's just not,
yeah.
I mean, you know that, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So here's one from Alpha Gator, and he's asking me, friends, I'll let you comment because I know you have some thoughts on it. He says, buddy, can you explain what's going on? What seems to be a shift from inside with the UAA and Howard leaving? I know you have thoughts on that.
I think that they're in the process of cleaning house top to bottom. I think a lot of the old guard is going to be gone. And a lot of it, I think, is necessity. I think a lot of it is you got to have new guys in who are accustomed to what's going on. The game, money has changed the game. And somebody who perhaps has spent his life dealing with it the way the NCAA dictated you do it for the last 40 years might not be the right guy. And he might be in his late 50s, early 60s, and it might be the perfect time to say, hey, you know, you've done your time, you know, right off into the sunset.
All right,
but
let's make these quick hits. Okay, we got to make them quick hits. Sorry, because we got a bunch of them. Here's a question. Think the next coach can bring in Kate Bell?
Possibly. I mean, it just depends. Depends
So
on
I'm
who
just
comes with
answering the questions. How we're doing.
Depends on who comes with the new coach. What's out there? What Cade thinks his long-term plans are. I mean, you know, being offensive coordinator of Florida probably be a better, you know, stepping stone to a head job someday.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, speaking of, congratulations to the late Chris Morton's son, who was an interim coach yesterday at UAB. And Chris is a friend of mine for many years. I worked with him at CBS. He'd been so proud, he's gone now, that his son stepped in and did a job and got the win, got the W at UAB as interim.
Over a ranked team at that.
Yeah, right. Here's a name that keeps coming up, Tim Blackburn. So what about Lincoln Riley? He doesn't seem like he's a fit to me. What do you guys think?
I think in Lincoln Riley, you're talking about Dan Mullen 2.0. He's a guy that's always going to dial up the right play. He's going to score points, going to pick up yards, going to all this other stuff. But when you look at it, who's he going to stop? I looked at his defense the other night against Notre Dame, and it was non-existent. He's been there. This is his 5th year there, and he doesn't have a defense yet.
And they're not really great on special teams either. And
they're horrible on special teams.
Yeah, they never have. I mean, under him, they haven't been great anywhere on special teams.
I'm gonna read this because this is one of my cousins from way back. Mike Rowell, Mike's up and around, has been under the weather. I want you to comment. I hope we don't settle for an unproven coach or offensive coordinator. We need an experienced, proven, successful, and personable coach. This program has everything going for it with that type of coach. Go Gators. Your thoughts on that, guys?
This has to be a home run hire.
As you wrote today on Gator Bay, yeah.
It cannot be one that just barely gets over the fence. This has to be one that goes over the scoreboard. I mean, when they're talking about home runs, it has to be, because here's the danger. You've been spinning if you've ever had your car stuck in the mud, and you notice that the more you spin your tires, the deeper it goes. you look at this since 2011, we have been spinning our tires here. And if we spin them much more, it's going to sink, and it may take forever to get it back. Vanderbilt was really great back in 1948. And it took him to
How about that?
2025.
Ranks in the top 10. All right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like friends getting
Nebraska.
kind of like getting stuck in the Masters in the parking lot. All right. Here's this guy, Gene Nelson, asks us, please let us know who you think the coach will be. I'm going to say Lane Kiffin, guys.
I'm going Lane Kiffin. I think it's time. And I think there's enough, from what I understand, Scott's not a big Lane fan, but like Fran said, this has got to be a home run hire, and it's got to move the needle for everybody. And, some of these other names, I mean, there's just not enough. And I don't mean it. Well, I'll say it. I mean, I just don't think there's enough learned football people in the Florida fan base that some of these names I think are really good football coaches, but you got to have that splash, and Lane's the splash.
All right, Panhandle Rob, says, what was the option for Napier to stay? There wasn't one. There was no option.
There wasn't. I think he knew, and Shane and I were talking about this. I think Billy Napier knew before that game began that this would be his last game. And I judge that by the way his demeanor was in the press room. You were there, Lauren. This was a guy that he knew that he coached his last game.
I asked him a football question because I felt sorry for him. If you remember, Franz, I was like the only one that asked him something really that was kind of football-y, because I was like, God, this is bad.
It was. I feel bad. He's the best coach, I think, in America from Sunday to Friday. But it's kind of like that lady said to me as I'm getting into my car. She says, we need a lot. She said he's paid $7.2 million. She says, we need a lot less 0.2 and a lot more 7 million.
Yeah. I mean, I think his issue was Sunday through Friday. That's where I think where they lost football games. I just don't think the way they were operating, I think was too much emphasis on the little things that didn't matter, and the football got lost during the week. So yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, friends, but it was like the football got lost Sunday through Friday.
All right, here's the last thing we're going to chew on tonight. And Verone 71 is one of our better listeners and callers.
Yeah.
Says, interesting time in Gator Nation right now. It certainly is, Verone. It certainly is. And France and I have been through a few of these. And Shane just says most important hire in history. I'm not sure if it's that because I've been through a few others. But it certainly is a huge time. But it certainly is also an interesting time. 1 minute apiece on the comment on that before we have to end the program. Friends?
The most important hire in Florida football history was made in 1960, and that was Ray Graves. Because Ray Graves, without Ray Graves, there's no Steve Spurrier. Mm-hmm. Without Ray Graves and Steve Spurrier, we are still that team that everybody's saying wait till next year and thinks that getting to the Gator Bowl is a big deal.
Interesting time, though, isn't it, France?
Oh, it's the most interesting time we've had because we got spoiled by from 1990 to 2010. We're the winningest program in college football. We're now like number 36 from what happened since then.
And it's like, I don't know if it's arrogance, confidence, or pride, or all the above. We're University of Florida. We can't take this. We're this, we're that. And that's what Scott Strickland said today in a way, too. You can get those numbers out there where you won a national championship 3 times in basketball and football, et cetera, et cetera. We have 49 national championships and on and on and on. You can say it. There's a lot there to play for. But, in the end, guys, and you can close out with your comment, Billy could have survived, which wasn't necessarily the best thing for us, had he not been so arrogant. Had he been unwilling to invest himself in those around him, who had not been willing to be interested in things outside of his own world, to not really respond to the questions and then not to change his offense. He had the opportunity. Clearly, Scott Strickland talked to him to a long time, and he didn't want to do it. So you can call it arrogance, but like Scott said, we are here because we're of that, basically, because of play calling. Lauren, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's time to put Billy Napier to bed and look forward, but that look forward can also give you a look out west to Nebraska, who is still kind of wallowing out there in the middle of the cornfields looking for the next Tom Osborne. And I think that a cautionary tale would be, just as we speak of Billy Napier's own arrogance, let's talk about Scott Strickland's and getting someone who you are pleased with as opposed to someone who could get this program back to where it needs to be. So, I would say, the first and right now the only call is made to Oxford, and you got to just live with it, man. He may rub you the wrong way. He may do a lot, but unless Golden makes another Final Four, he may be the difference between you, and your future. So just be mindful.
I say this, buddy. You got to go to Oxford and make a Godfather offer.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think
you got to make an offer he cannot refuse. And if that means all of a sudden, because I know for a fact that they're going to offer him a rollover that's going to pay at $11.2 million, which means I think Florida's going to have to come in at 12.5. It'll make him the second highest paid coach in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, great job. Appreciate you. And
all right, gentlemen.
We'll see you
shout out to the Polar Bears. 5-1.
Tomorrow night, Lauren, I'm trying to plug your show.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Well, Lauren Meadows will be on, and then of course read Fans Beard and Gator. If you're not reading that, you're not catching up with what's going on. And then tomorrow morning I'll be on with Shane Matthews. Guys, good night. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. All right. Good to talk to you. Good to see you there.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up with our comments about our fine sponsors. Titan MRI and Imaging, which has been with us for quite a while. We're very grateful. Thank you for that. They now have 3 locations. Working on a 4th, should be here any moment, hopefully in Ocala. 2 in Gainesville with the Park Avenue location, and now Millennium Center and 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Titan MRI and Imaging offers same great customer service as always. If you need to have an appointment at a certain time, you can't go on the day, they will make you one at night if that's best for you. Titan MRI now accepts insurance through their self-convenient pay options as well. They offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options, as I said. Here's the key. They have the larger MRI machines for people like me who don't like to be in close quarters. And they can get you in those big, more comfortable MRI machines, and you'll feel like a different person. No ERs, no hospitals. Coming soon to Ocala. To better serve Marion County and surrounding areas, Titan MRI, it's your choice. Thank you tonight to our guests, Shane Matthews, of course, and Vance Beard, their guest host, and our friend Lauren Meadows. We're back on the air again on tomorrow morning with Shane, and then on Wednesday night. Appreciate you coming aboard, and appreciate you supporting this program, which you've done great and I appreciate the listening and calling and your messages. We do this together. Now we get a fresh start. Yeah, think about doing a new book on Gator football called Fresh Start. What should we call it? Think about that, and we'll come back and talk about it in a couple of days here. So until then, folks, have a good night. I'm Buddy Martin.